Hello everybody, thanks for joining me while I show you this philodendron pedatum. Now you might think that this is a young pedatum since the leaves on these reddish petioles are still relatively small, but nothing is what it seems, so let's have a closer look together. Now, what I showed you is actually not a juvenile plant, but on the contrary, it's by far my biggest and tallest philodendron. And it's so big that for safety reasons, I mean for the plant, not for me obviously, I decided to show you this guy from the spot where it usually hangs out with all its jungle friends. I bought this guy in February 2021, so it's been under my care now for more than 1 year and a half. So let me show you a picture of the plant on the day it arrived at my place. As you can see, it was already quite a beast, but it still had like 1/3 of this huge moss ball it came with left to climb on. And for this guy I paid 45 euros, which is not too bad for such a big plant in my opinion. Now, having such a big and mature philodendron allows me to talk about certain topics that I normally don't discuss when I show my other smaller philodendrons on my channel. And the first topic is the leaf size on this guy. I mean, look at these adult leaves at the bottom. They are all way bigger than my hand. And you can see that as you go higher up the plant, the younger leaves get gradually smaller in size. Okay, so the second topic concerns the fullness of this plant. Now, first of all, this is partially due to the fact that this plant is surrounded and even intertwined by many other plants, of course. But there is a second reason why this plant looks so full and lush, which is the fact that there are actually not one but 4 plants in this pot, which gives me 4 times the number of leaves. That's just simple mathematics. Okay, so the third topic is related to this gigantic moss ball that the plant came with. Now, in general, I'm not a big fan of moss balls, but I have to admit that giving a climbing philodendron a moss ball definitely means much bigger leaves. And this pedatum is the living proof of this. At the same time, and I've said this before in other videos, no indoor moss ball can ever replace the huge trees where these guys climb up to in tropical forests. So sadly enough, this plant has already outgrown even this huge moss ball, and you can see all those young leaves at the top desperately trying to figure out where they have to go next, since there is no more moss ball to be found at the top. So what I will do in a minute, and I will show you this, is taking off all these young branches for propagation in water. And by the way, as a test, I already took a 1-leaf cutting like half a year ago. And here you can see the result of that. It rooted quite easily in water. Then I potted it up and you can clearly distinguish the original leaf, which is the biggest and darkest one, from the other 4 baby leaves that have different shapes and sizes. Now let's get back to the 4 mother plants, because I want to show you something else, which is the fact that these plants, as they mature, they get these very thick grain brown woody stems, and on those stems you can see bright green spots, which are actually growing points that are dormant at the moment, but they are ready to be activated if ever the plant would be cut down. In other words, Mother Nature made sure that these plants come fully prepared in case they get damaged. Now, as you can see, philodendrons can perfectly grow under artificial light, which is the only light that this guy gets anyway, and he seems to love it. And by the way, as for watering, I let this guy dry out completely, and then I just top water the 4 plants very moderately, and that's all. So underwatering is clearly what this pedatum likes best. Now I will let you have one last look at all this lush young growth on top, since I'm about to give this guy a pretty drastic haircut. Okay, now here we are. I took a total of I think 12 cuttings, so the 4 mother plants can now restart putting out new leaves on top. And hopefully all these cuttings will grow to become plants in their own right in a couple of months' time. Now you might wonder, does anyone need so many pedatums? And the answer is yes, of course. No, I'm kidding. I will probably give some away. I'll also put a couple in my office at work. And with the ones that are left, well, I just might create a total new pot with even more plants, like 6 on a moss ball, and see how that works out. Okay, that's all for my most neglected and yet biggest philodendron. If you like this video, please consider liking it and or subscribing to my channel. For now, I wish you a very nice day and I hope to see you again real soon on my channel. Bye bye.